Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fakest of them all? Well, it sure as hell ain't me. I'm the most trustworthy guy around here. And it definitely ain't Shane McMahon, who's made an entire career of slinging genuine, bona fide potatoes around the place. But what about Orange Cassidy's apathetic shin kicks? You're exposing the business. What about Kenny Omega versus a 9-year-old girl? Don't you make a mockery of my noble sport, sir. And what about Kota Ibushi versus a blow-up doll? Look, to be honest, not to blow smoke up her ass, because that's not where the pump is, but she's incredibly talented. Long story short, wrestling isn't a real fight. I know. And people have hundreds of examples of moments like these that make it plainly obvious that what we're all watching is just some sort of glorious ham ballet. But there are a bunch of small moments that happen in most matches that are as fake as anything, but nobody really complains about them. So well, it's more that I'm gonna list them for funsies. I'm Laurie, hailing from partsFUNknown. I know, I'm not Adam. And these are the 10 fakest things in wrestling that no one complains about. Hey, before we get on with the thing though, do a subscribe if you like wrestling lists and other fun wrestling content. I even made a video about the history of wrestling and how it turned from a legit competition to kayfabe fakery, so check that one out. Number 10. Let's play catch. Wrestling loves a big dive. Fans love a big dive. Like Rubicon Mango, it's a cheap pop worth having. Why? Well, 1, it's always fun to watch a wrestler go whee as they fly through the air, and B, it looks dangerous. Having a whole grown-ass person land on you from 8 feet up looks like it would really hurt for real. But what is not for real and actual is the way that the wrestlers on the floor, the dive-ees, just wait for the diver to climb the turnbuckle, psych themselves up, and then leap into the unknown. It's all stumbling about, throwing soft punches while they wait to be jumped on. Just flee, you fools. Of course, the alternative to this is just letting the wrestler doing the jumping splat on the floor. And judging by that bump that Nash Carter took on NXT 2.0, catching them is a much better option. Number 9, the 619. Don't get me wrong, Rey Mysterio or Io Shirai swinging both their hind legs into your face at speed is going to leave a mark. There is nothing too obviously fake there. But why is it that their opponents always manage to fall so perfectly plumb across the middle rope? Nobody ever falls on the middle rope. It's the ugly stepchild of the ropes. Bottom rope is good for breaking holds, top rope for jumping off of, and it's crucial to a Royal Rumble. Middle rope, good for catching your balls on the way into the ring. I don't know, I'm not a ropes scientist. So how is it that Ray has managed to create an entire arsenal of moves that land people precisely on the middle rope? I mean, it's always a great moment, and the same could be said for most moves that set people up for a top rope finisher, like Finn Balor's shotgun dropkick. But it's flown under the fake radar for far too long, so I'm calling it out. Number 8, wait for my music. Everyone deserves a friend that is going to watch their back. Through thick and thin, a true ride or die. Ollie has Luke, Pete has Tempest, and me and Adam, we're just colleagues, thanks. Wrestlers need them, especially to save them from a beatdown when the dastardly heels jump you post-match. However, a good rescue can't begin without the mood being set. You gotta dim the lights, scatter the rose petals, and play my goddamn entrance music, Soundman Greg. Why do they always wait for their music to hit before coming out to make the save? I mean, picture the scene. Hulk Hogan is having a bad time in the ring, getting beaten up by Sid and Papa Shango, and there stands the Ultimate Warrior behind the curtain, raring to go, ready to save his old rival, shouting about lightning bolts. He's the colour of old leather, but he just can't go out without his music, Greg. Think of all of the beatings that could have been prevented over the years if wrestlers didn't need announcing before they made a save. Do better, Gregory. Do better. Number 7. The Tree of Woe. What's the worst kind of tree? That's right, family trees, because you go back 300 years and everyone was a murderer. Not me, mind, I'm descended from angels, but you, probably, Adam, definitely, God knows what goes on Jersey. The second worst tree is the Tree of Woe. Neither a tree nor woe, it's when a wrestler gets trapped upside down hanging from the turnbuckle as if they couldn't just unhook their legs and get out of it. Already, it's a little bit of a disbelief breaking sin, but what's worse is when the person in the Tree of Woe has to hold themselves up in order to receive a move, just sort of waiting to be hit. Alberto Del Rio foot stomp, I'm looking at you. Like why? What's the reason you'd hoist yourself up? Because you can't see? What are you doing over there climbing the turnbuckle, Mr. Del Rio? Oh no, he stumped on me. Andrade and Pac managed to make this make a little bit more sense as Idolo pulled the bastard up for the move during their Rampage match, but it is still a very contrived setup. Number 6. Where's that heel going? WWE sure loves their count-out finishes, don't they? It is an annoying way to avoid giving a proper finish, because who wants to be satisfied with the product that they're watching? But it makes a sort of sense when the heel decides that they're done wrestling and gets intentionally counted out in order to retain some sort of title or what have you. But what is a real bad is when a heel goes to get intentionally counted out and the babyface just stands there looking on stunned, seemingly unaware that they are capable of leaving the ring to retrieve said heel. Pop out and back in to reset the count, babes. Something like this snaps you out of your suspension of disbelief so fast. Those goody two-shoes standing in the ring looking around like, oh man, if only there was something I could have done to keep this from happening. Oh, I don't know, have you tried trying? Number 5, the slow crawl to the hot tag. Ah, well, now this is a bit of fun. The build to a hot tag is as old as tag team wrestling itself. It is true drama, or melodrama. You cut the babyface off, you grind them down, and you make them work for that tag. You do it right, and the fans should be coming unglued by the time they finally reach their partner. But man, oh man, is it silly to see the babyface crawling across the ring like a cat who's just come back from the vets. Show a clip of that, Vinny. Show a clip of the cats. People love cats. Because also then when they've made the tag, they miraculously pop back up on the apron, and then they'll be running wild in a couple of seconds when they're tagged back in a minute later. These folks sell you on the idea that they are on the verge of death. 1 HP left, no stamina, whole body flashing red until they can make that tag, and then suddenly, boom, Chiraga, back in you go. Number 4, climbing the ladder. Picture this, there's a title hanging 12 feet above the ring, but you don't need to worry, that's a completely solvable problem as there's a handy dandy ladder at ringside. All you gotta do is climb it. Sure, you might be a bit banged up, you might be a little tired, but surely you can climb that ladder. Oh no, where did all the bones in my body go? From watching the way that wrestlers attempt to jelly limb their way up a ladder like they were naught but a sack of organs, you would think that it was difficult. But in wrestling, dozens of championship aspirations have been dashed by wrestlers just simply not being able to climb fast enough. Jeff Hardy tries to climb against The Undertaker in 2002. Shawn Michaels can't climb at No Mercy 2008. A wrestler being able to climb 12 feet in less than 2 minutes is just so unlikely. There are instances, of course, like the North American title ladder match from TakeOver New Orleans, where all of the competitors agreed to climb as fast as possible for the whole match, meaning that it was someone else's job to stop them. That whole thing takes expert timing, which is why the slow climb persists to this day. Number 3, they just won't go over. Think of every great Royal Rumble or Battle Royal elimination that you can. What comes to mind? Shawn Michaels going out in 2010, Paul London in 2005, Kane in 2001. There are tons to choose from, and all of them seem to involve a big lariat or a big finisher being hit. It seems like a pretty good strategy if you ask me. So why do so many wrestlers spend most of the match just hugging each other in the ropes? You can hug a man's leg all you want, but he's not going to go over. That's just physics. Sure, you could try hugging him for an uncomfortably long time and hope that he just leaves of his own accord, but what's to stop someone smarter than you know, eliminating you? And it's generally just been accepted that this is what the people not involved in the central spots do during a battle royal to bide their time. But when you look closely at it, it's like one of those flash mob things where everyone pretends to be frozen. A massive waste of everyone's time. Number 2, battling in submissions. Now this is as dramatic as it gets. How many incredible matches have been made that much better because of a long, heated spot of a babyface battling through the pain while trapped in a deadly submission hold? Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21, CM Punk and John Cena at Money in the Bank. The list is genuinely endless, and this spot is one of the most effective at creating emotion when done right. So then why is it on this list, you filthy ginger beggar? Well, because if you spent more than 2 seconds in a proper ankle lock, there's a good chance you would never be able to use that foot again for all of your walking and walking related activities. Submission holds, when applied properly, are incredibly dangerous, devastating, and will cause serious damage to the poor soul unlucky enough to be trapped in them. Obviously, wrestling allows for the more dramatic, theatrical side of the sport to be showcased, but if you are basing your enjoyment purely on realism, there is simply no way that HBK lies in that ankle lock for 2 minutes and then is able to walk away. Kurt is killing them cankles. Number 1, running the ropes. Have you ever tried to stop running? It's weird how you just you think about it and you just stop Kind of like you're in charge of your own legs. Madness, I know, right? But in wrestling, there's this mystical thing called momentum, which you build up enough of by bouncing off the ropes or being Irish whipped, and suddenly the simple act of stopping running is impossible, like you got the speed booster in Super Metroid. And it's just one of those things that we all accept about sports entertainment. A wrestler is whipped into the ropes and they keep running because, well, there isn't really a good answer to that, is there? There's like velocity? Inertia? Am I using any of that correctly? I don't know, I'm not a legs scientist. Almost every wrestling match, probably ever, has involved somebody running the ropes or being whipped. It is one of the main things that we happily overlook to enjoy our wrestling. And you know what? Like all things on this list, that is just fine so long as we're all having fun. Isn't it nice to have a nice message at the end of a video? It is. So that's the list. Can you think up any other fake bits of wrestling that people just aren't talking about and widely accept? If so, drop them in a comment down below and click the videos on screen now to see even more glorious PFK content. Jam that jam, hand ballet fans. Jam that jam.